Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to be listening to an introduction to division. You all have been working fabulously on multiplication, and now we're ready to keep on moving through to division. We will be covering the Virginia SOL Math Standard 3.6. It is representing, creating, and solving multiplication and division problems. Our I can statement for this section will be I can solve division problems and show the work that I did to find my answer. Our first question is, what is division? Division is splitting items into equal parts or groups. It is the result of fair sharing, and it is very important for us to remember that it is equal parts. That is our big reminder. And there is a picture down below to kind of get you thinking about equal parts or fair sharing. You can see in the picture that there are chocolate pieces, and they are divided into 3 groups, and they are equal, so there is fair sharing. How can I solve a division problem? I am going to introduce 3 ways to solve division problems. Feel free to use the method that works best for you. First, we will do relationships with multiplication to solve our division problems. Then, we will be using models. And lastly, we will be using repeated subtraction. Moving on to our first example is relationships with multiplication. As you can see on the left, this should look very familiar. It is an array, and this array shows the multiplication sentence 3 times 6 equals 18. You're all familiar with this vocabulary, factors and products, but now we're going to see how this relates to division. On the right side over here, we have a division problem that is the inverse for the other multiplication problem. It is 18 divided by 3 equals 6. Now we are working with new vocabulary, which is dividend for our number in all, divisor for the number of groups, and quotient, which is number in each group. And a quotient is the answer to our division problem. Up here, you can see that there are 18 circles in all, just like in our array on the left. We are dividing them into 3 groups, which is why we see the 3 circles. And there are 6 in each group. Sometimes when you are working with the relationships of multiplication, you can ask yourself, 18 divided by 3. Some number multiplied by 3 is going to give us this 18. And that is where your relationships come in for multiplication. You guys have been working fabulously with your multiplication facts, and now you can think to yourself that 3 times 6 gives you 18. So you can kind of see the joint relationship between this array and our new division sentence. The next way that I'm going to teach you is using models. And you can actually draw them out. We'll be working with this a little bit more in class. If we had 15 pieces of chocolate and we wanted to divide them by 3 groups, so maybe there were 3 friends who wanted chocolate and there were 15 pieces. We want to remember to do fair share. Okay? So in our illustration here, we have a circle representing each of the children or each of the people. And we are going to divide our 15 pieces of chocolate. We would go one at a time, put one piece into one person's circle, into the next, all the way until we would count to 15. And then at the end, with our equal groups, there are the same number in each group, and there are 5. That lets us know that 15 divided by 3 would give us 5. The last way that I'm going to teach you is repeated subtraction. We learned previously with our multiplication that that is the same as repeated addition. Division is the same as repeated subtraction. The new problem that we're going to use for this example is 24 divided by 6. We are going to repeatedly subtract the number 6 until we end up with 0. In our first problem here in purple, we have 24 subtracted by 6, and we get 18. Then we move that 18 down, and we'll subtract 6 again, and get 12. We'll move the 12 down, and we will keep subtracting all the way until we end up with 0. But then we are not done. We need to go back and count how many times we subtracted 6. So we can count 1, 2, 3, and 4. We now know that 24 divided by 6 is going to equal 4. Now, this is the end of my instructional video. If you are stumped on any of these strategies, you can always go back and rewatch. Tomorrow in class, we will be working in small centers to practice what we have learned, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I would love to say thank you so much for watching.